Hello, hello, welcome back. I'm gonna keep my voice fairly low because after yesterday practicing a lot, and I think I talked too much during the stream, I'm coughing more again, so I need to really let my throat heal. Um, in any case, hello, welcome back, Nathan. How are you? Hello, Michael. Welcome back. I saw your other comments. Thank you so much for the really kind comments. Happy belated Canadian Thanksgiving to you too. So, anyway, we are going to continue looking for clues and continuing the story. It just got really good. We are going to pick up exactly where we left off because I can literally not, I'm locked out of everything until I finish this bit of the story. So yeah, I'm sorry to hear you've been going through a lot of stuff. I did see your other comment, and I hope you're doing okay. So anyway, shall we, guys? I'm going to put the microphone way up close like this. Hey, Nicholas, happy Friday the 13th. It is indeed, isn't it? Oh, right. There is one thing that I wanted to do. I just wanted to, again, point out if you guys are in the Seattle area and you would like to see me and my friend Rose Johnson perform, we will be performing a little Halloween-esque concert on October 28th. So if you want more information about that, give me a second here. Let me just get the event page. It is here. Come and see me and my friend Rose perform. All right. There you go. Will the event be recorded? I think we are going to try and get it recorded. So at the very least, you'll have that. So, but let's see, pin message. But yeah, so this is in case you guys are in the area, in the Seattle area, because I do know that some of you guys who watch me are actually in the Seattle area. So if you want to come and see us perform live, it's a great time. For those of you who do not know who my friend Rose is, yes, she does share the same name as my flute. But this is a real person Rose, not my flute Rose. So she is kind of like my big flute sister here in the Seattle area. About 10 years ago when I moved here, she really took me under her wing and just like took care of me. You know, she is my big flute sister. And yeah, so she is really running the show here and she has gotten me to be on board with her. So of course I have like also, you know, like pitched in and stuff like that. But I would say that she's really the artistic director here and I think it's really awesome. So it's okay, Michael. I just thought that it would be really quite terrible of me to not even tell you guys that I am performing live now. So for those of you who are in the Seattle area or in the nearby area, if you guys would like to come over and watch us perform. So the link that I put in the pinned messages here does have a link to our tickets page. So tickets are not that expensive. So we were trying to make sure that the tickets weren't egregiously expensive, but also were not insanely cheap either, because it does take some money to put on a show like this. Now, if you did want to support us anyway, on that same website, you can actually donate to support us for future events as well. So yeah, if you would like to support us, head on over there to our website, Equiflare. I keep saying Aqui, because I think I want to say Aquiterme, but it's Equiflare. And yeah, that's the name of our duo. So hi, Megan. I caught you too. How are you? Welcome to the stream. You wish you lived in Washington, you'd be there in a hot minute. Thank you guys. You guys are so sweet. So yeah, so in case you guys are wondering why this stream says that it is a paid, there's like a paid sponsorship or advertisement, it's because I am advertising this event here. So on top of that, I realized that essentially my merch, I'm advertising my merch all the time. So I think technically speaking, all of these are sponsored by me. Oh, you're Alluring. Hi, Alluring Almond. I didn't realize your name is Megan. Hello, welcome. I saw your message over on Discord. I think you saw my reply. Hey Deanna, thank you so much. Welcome back, Deanna. Okay, I'm really trying to make sure I keep my voice really, really soft. If I keep it really soft, I think I'll be fine. Yeah. No worries on going incognito. I think that like I get that too, especially when life gets really hard. But I'm learning to at least give you guys updates. I hope you guys are proud of me for doing that. If anything, I find it terrifyingly easy for me to just fall off the face of the planet and not tell anyone. I think there's a bit of trauma there that I probably need to work out on my own, probably with a therapist. So that is definitely something that I know that is not great about myself. It's one of my weaknesses. But at the same time, I understand when other people have to do it too. So I think in a way it's weird. It's a bit of a double-edged sword. So don't ever feel bad, guys, for coming back into the chat if you haven't been back for months or years even. I don't care because, you know, they do say that content creators attract like-minded viewers. So I get it. I get why, you know, you guys might disappear for a few months or years or something like that and then come back. You absolutely don't have to feel ashamed or that you think that, you know, that you shouldn't talk because you haven't been back in a while. Absolutely none of that, because I would be an absolute hypocrite if I criticized you guys for doing that too, because I do that as well. Yeah, hermit mode. Exactly, Deanna. So I think a lot of us here go into hermit mode, and myself included. It's just the weirdest part about going into hermit mode when this is your job is that you kind of have to tell people that you're going into hermit mode. And that's kind of weird because I think for you guys who do go into hermit mode, you know what I mean? Like when you go into hermit mode, you're not really sure that you're actually going into hermit mode until you've been in hermit mode for a while. So, you know, yeah. I'm so glad you guys understand. Okay, well, without further ado, let's continue with the story. So for those of you guys who don't know what just happened, we went to a magic show. Oh, so this is in the story, okay? You guys are probably hearing a bit of the yeah, I think you guys are actually hearing a bit of the music in the background. But we were invited to a magic show in the story, but an accident happened in the magic show and someone was killed. So now we just finished up looking for a few pieces of evidence. We recruited a sidekick detective and her lackeys. And now we are going to talk to our friend who also happens to be the prime suspect. All right. So that is kind of like a very quick, you know, just context so you guys know what we are walking into right now. Haven't been out of your house since July. Well, not off of your property. Yeah. I mean, like, we've been in the area, of course, you know, to grab things to eat. But, yeah, I think since, well, I guess technically I did go up to Vancouver to visit family about a week before I got really sick. So, you know. I do want to do some flute reviews. We do have some planned, but it got pushed off because I got sick. So, yeah. right now we're just waiting for me to heal. And usually it takes me, I'm not joking, guys. It takes me about 3 to 4 weeks to heal from a cough. I know it's just stupid. The last time that I had a cough was about mid 2021. And that took about, I want to say like a month, 4 weeks, something. It was like somewhere around there, about a month to heal. So I do apologize that things are kind of like dragging on, but at least I can do this and hang out with you guys. You've been working on a project. Awesome. What kind of project? Tell us while I get started. Okay, here we go. Let's head on over here. We are here right where we left off yesterday. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's true. Everyone is sick. Oh, right, Nathan, you're right. Because what happened here was not an accident in the story. It definitely was a premeditated murder, but it was framed as an accident. So I don't know if I've heard of Flute Lab head joints. No. Hopefully I will soon. Okay, let's get started.
Understood. Then I will be going with you. Just so you're aware, I will be monitoring your actions and making notes as necessary.
Very good. Thanks for being so agreeable. I'd pull a rose out of my hat as a gift for you if I could.
What a flirt.
You may spare the pleasantries. I'm just doing my job.
Ooh, coloring book. Excuse me. Are you making the coloring book or are you coloring in a coloring book?
You've arrived. Who's this? Me? I'm Spina di Rosula's guardian angel. If you've got a problem, I've got the firepower.
She's so cool.
Sorry, I got a little carried away there. Call me Navia. I'm a partner of theirs, and will be helping investigate this whole situation. And these are my companions. Would you mind if they join as well?
I love her lackeys. Her lackeys are so funny.
Fine by me.
Oh, new helpers? I would be most grateful.
Well, let's just say we're tagging along. It's not every day you get to see the secrets behind magic performed on such a large scale.
I appreciate your kind interest.
Oh, you've been
Come with
making
me.
the coloring
We'll
book.
be heading below stage.
That's awesome.
Huh? Below stage?
Yes, a world of secrets is hidden beneath this magic box, prepared specifically for this switcheroo trick. But before I reveal everything, you should have a look first. Notice anything strange here?
I don't know if I'll
I'm
ever
not
start a
trying to be
gaming channel.
dramatic. Remembering the details of a trick will help you understand the methods used to perform it more easily.
So one of the reasons why I am gaming on this channel, one is because I don't really know how much like actual like gaming that I will stream besides this. I do have some ideas of other things that I want to stream that are music related. But like one thing that I want to do, and I mentioned this at the end of the stream last night, is that I want to stop hiding that this is my main hobby. And I say hobby because the flute is not really a hobby of mine. It's my career. It's a career that I love, and I love my work, but it is my work and it is my career. It's my job. In terms of what I do when I unwind, this is what I do when I unwind. And they're in sort of your inner classical music circles. Video games are still not the most highly thought of. And Imagine Kichi, I've missed you. How are you? But yeah, so in inner circles of classical music, video games are not thought of very highly, but I think after like a few short conversations about it with some more established musicians, it seems more that they just don't know about it, and they don't know what to think of it because they have nothing to go on. So this is my way of putting it out there in a place where they'll find it. You know, like if they want to see my stuff, they will inevitably see some of these gaming streams. Someone wants to join. Okay, I'll just ignore that. Okay. So my hope is that I can be one of the professional classical musicians out there who also very openly plays video games and enjoys it, and shows why these video games are really so beautiful, and they are wonderful works of art. And I mean, just listen to the music. The music is gorgeous. You know, like it, especially when you're playing a role-playing game like this, an RPG, you do kind of feel like you are playing through an opera in first person. It's very interactive, and you're not watching an opera from kind of an audience standpoint or from a third person point of view. You're really experiencing it yourself, and I really like that. So you know, I think and also, like, I feel like, because I tend to put out content that I wish I could have watched when I was in music school, and I think I would have loved it if a classical musician content creator that I followed also streamed gaming, especially these types of games. So I'm just thinking about what like 18-year-old Joanna would have loved to watch, and this is the type of thing that 18-year-old Joanna would have loved to watch. So perhaps this can help you know, shed some light on the video game world for people who are in the inner circles of classical music. What's really interesting is that even games like this, they do hire very renowned classical groups, orchestras to perform. So like Genshin has hired the London Phil, I believe Tokyo Phil, Shanghai Symphony. So these are all musicians who are well within the inner circles of the classical music world, and they are here in these games, but for some reason when I talk to people who are very established classical musicians, they tend to just not really know anything about video games. But I think it's such a great place to express our art. So yeah. Yeah, Megan, you put it very well, that people don't always acknowledge or respect what they're unfamiliar with. I think if anything, there's almost a bit of a fear of the unknown, although I might be putting words in their mouths if I say that, but that I think for some people that might be the case. So, you know, anyway, those are just kind of my raw thoughts about it, and that's why I decided to put like streams of me doing this story on here, rather than creating a separate gaming channel. Because if I create a separate gaming channel, I think there's less of a chance of established classical musicians becoming curious enough to watch it, you know. Whereas if it's on my main channel with all the rest of my music things, and I really show that this is holistically who I am, rather than compartmentalizing myself, then I think I have a better chance at reaching some people in a way that is not non-threatening, you know? Yeah, exactly, Megan. That sometimes is disrespectful, but not intentionally. That's what I realized. What I realized is that I think when I was younger, I had been told to my face by a music school professor that video game music was not real music. And so, 18, 19-year-old Joanna just took that face value as disrespect. But, mid-30s Joanna now is like, no, I don't think it's that. I think it's that people are just tend to shut down conversations about things that they're not familiar with, especially if they feel intimidated by it, or they feel like they had known nothing about it, and so they have nothing to contribute. And I just want people to know that it's totally okay to engage in conversation in things that you have no knowledge about. You can just listen, so while he's wrong. Yes, Megan. But yeah, those are more, I guess, of my raw thoughts about this. And it's been something that I've been thinking about a lot since my Italy trip. So, I really decided that, I might not get as many views on these streams, but one is really fun for me to do. I've always wanted to stream more gaming. And gaming streams are some of my favorite streams to unwind with. So, yeah. So anyway, let's continue with the story.
Weren't there balloons and other decorations here? Where did all that go?
Ah, good eye. That said, you're still far from discovering the answer.
The back of the door isn't the same.
The back? You mean the inside of the door? What's different about it? Paimon didn't notice anything.
Very good indeed. I thought you might not be able to catch that, given that you were sitting in the first row. The back of this door was patterned. Those patterns are now gone, replaced by a smooth wooden board. So, if you put 2 and 2 together, what do you get?
There's another box inside this one.
Exactly. All right, let's go. I'll tell you how it works as we head down.
Oh, so there was a passageway under the magic box!
And this passage linked the two boxes together.
I knew you'd figure out most of it as soon as you saw this place. The 2 magic boxes are positioned right above the 2 entrances of the tunnel. See this flatbed trolley? The box with the lucky audience member in it would be shuttled over to the other side using the trolley.
This trolley can raise and lower and even rotate, ensuring that the box will face in the right direction.
I see. So that's the purpose of the box inside another box.
Precisely. The inner box would descend after the audience member was put inside and be moved along the trolley, all while the outer box would remain on stage as if nothing had ever changed.
So that's how you did it!
Once the box was
still
lowered,
cannot
the trolley
take
would
her
store some
glasses
energy through this
seriously.
device here, with which it would complete the rest of the steps. The audience member would only be able to feel some slight movements in the dark, and by the time she walked out, she would already be back on stage.
Then what about your side of the trick?
Right! You were talking that whole time, and you even came out for a moment near the end!
Ah, yes. A phonograph operated by Lynette was used to achieve that effect. My assistant and I had already scripted our conversation beforehand. When the countdown began, I had already gone to the opposite box via a tunnel using that ladder.
And what about Lynette? Where was she?
I was in the mezzanine space in the back of the box.
Oh, interesting!
That's how we were able to coordinate Linny's lines with the assistant. And, by the way, I was the one who walked out of the box at the end.
Oh,
I mean, we are twins. All it takes is a change of clothes and no one can tell who's who.
but you're taller, Linny. Megan, you have a friend who streams Pikmin? That's so cute. Pikmin is such a cute game. Cooking Mama is also such a cute game, Michael. That's awesome. Ah, yes, Super Mario RPG Remake. We were very, very excited when we saw that announcement come out.
And that's my favorite part of this trick. Only Lynette and I can perform it.
That's the twin trick. Okay, I'm so sorry that this might be super spoilers, but to be fair, the movie is fairly old now. But if you guys have not seen The Prestige, you absolutely need to. It is a wonderful, wonderful movie. It also involves kind of very extremely dark themes, but it is also like, you know, magic related and stuff like that. So highly recommend if you guys have not watched The Prestige.
So that's how it all worked! Wow! Every detail you revealed was more amazing than the last!
I can tell a lot of thought was put into this.
Lynette would briefly walk out of the box and then go back in, jumping into the tunnel and escaping before the box on the trolley could finish ascending. And then I walk out of the other box in the audience area, and the trick would be complete. The operative word here being would. But as you saw, Cal was in the box, not our audience member. She, on the other hand, mysteriously vanished.
We really don't know how that happened.
If not for that interlude, this would have been an astonishing trick. I probably never would have figured out how you pulled it off. And yet, to think that someone was able to use this magic trick to commit a crime.
Yeah, so I think for those of you who are just joining, I think including Majin Kichi, so someone else got replaced with the audience member, the assistant, the magician's assistant got replaced, and then was in the box, and then a water tank that just like crashed down on top of the box and killed him. It was very sudden, very dark, and you can go see my reaction in the last stream. I did not expect that.
Could we have a look around? I think we can come up with some more leads.
This is the scene of the crime, so Linny and Lynette are not permitted to stay here. I'll escort them back up.
Yes, of
Fair.
course. No need to be so strict now. I won't disappear into thin air, you know.
Thanks, everyone. We're counting on you.
Awesome. Enjoy, Michael. All right, the magic trick. Linny gave a detailed account of how the trick was supposed to work. By using a box inside a box, the idea was for the box containing the audience member to be transported across via a tunnel underneath, and Linny himself would also use this tunnel to get to the other side. Meanwhile, having changed her outfit, Lynette and her assistant would take charge of on-stage interactions. On-stage magic box structure. The magic box on stage has an additional layer to its rear in which Lynette, in Linny's clothes, remained hidden. She would appear at the end of the magic trick and lead people to believe that Linny had been able to instantly move to the box on the other side. Audience side magic box structure. The magic box at the center of the audience stands has 2 layers, and beneath it is an entrance to an underground tunnel. This was how the lucky audience member was meant to have been transported without the audience noticing. Right. Examine the control board. This should be the control device for the trolley. It seems to be able to operate automatically. Examine the ladder. A ladder is required in order to return to the magic box above. Okay.
What's this?
Looks like a hook tied to the end of a rope. Huh? There's all kinds of odd odds and ends here.
There was a wait for it. Impact. Make it. Linny didn't mention this earlier.
Perhaps it was a prop for a different trick. But why would it have been left here?
Hey, Des. Hello back to you. I'm also sick and playing Genshin. Imagine Wukichi. I love that you're you're really into this.
Whatever it is, let's make a note of it first.
Dropped hook rope. A rope that has fallen to the ground. A metal hook has been tied to one end of this rope. Its use is unclear.
The floor is wet. Please be careful not to slip.
Speaking of which, why would there be water here?
Maybe it was for a trick?
Oh, Paimon knows! It's one of those tricks where you pour water into a jug and then flip the jug over only for the water to disappear. And here's a broken vase. Huh. Did the trolley knock it down while moving?
That can't be.
That must
The
have been
trolley
the
moves
sump.
along tracks from start to finish. It couldn't have hit the vase at this distance.
Let's note this down too and think about it later.
There was a struggle. Okay, broken flower vase. There are many pieces of a broken flower vase on one side of the tunnel. All the water within has been spilled. Judging from the distance, it seems unlikely that it was knocked over by the trolley meant to transport the magic box. Oh, clothing. Oh, shoot.
Oh, these are the clothes that the lady chosen from the audience was wearing, right? Her clothes are here, but she's nowhere to be found.
Linny didn't mention the guest having a wardrobe change.
Right. And do you really need to do that if you're kidnapping them?
Oh my god, look at her glasses. She changed it.
Ugh. This is so confusing. Paimon doesn't want to be a detective anymore.
The young lady's clothes. The clothes belonging to Halsey, the lady who went missing, were found in the tunnel. The reason for this remains unknown. Oh. Examine the tracks. High precision is required to complete this magic show, and tracks are perfect for making the trolley stay on its designated course. Oh, that's just to sit there. Examine storage boxes. All kinds of props and costumes are haphazardly stuffed inside. Examine the trolley. The trolley is crucial for transporting the magic box to the other side. The culprit must have used this to execute their plan. Oh,
What is this place?
looks like a vent. They vented.
It seems someone could fit through here.
Oh, they're doing some amogus here too.
Could this have been the suspect's escape route?
Alone, perhaps. But if they had to pull another person with them, the space would be too narrow.
I think they'd fit.
But there are no other ways in or out of here.
Other than those that go through the magic boxes.
Oh, you're right. Let Paimon write that down.
The tunnel vent looks like it could allow one person passage, barely, but leaving along with the missing lady seems an unrealistic prospect. Okay.
Seems we're just about done investigating down here.
Yes, let's head back up. Well, we've ascertained the state of the crime scene.
Yes, they did. So the audience member was kidnapped. And they replaced the audience member with the assistant who was killed in the crash that you see up there on the stage. For more context, there has been an ongoing case of disappearing young women in this country. So she has now been added to that list.
Let's find a place to sort out our findings once Malus returns. Seems to me that there are several things that don't add up here.
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle.
So, what did the guards say? Did the criminal escape through the vent?
They believe the odds of that are very low, since the vent leads to the Opera House's basement. The guards have checked the area carefully. No one left through the basement during the performance or after the incident, and no one was found hiding there.
So the tunnels become like a secret chamber then. You know, like the kind you usually see in novels.
It seems so.
The plot thickens. Halsey's disappearance and Cowell's death are both quite inexplicable. No wonder Farina was so confident in her accusation. All the current evidence points toward Linny and Lynette.
In other words, the charges are very likely to be upheld unless we make some considerable progress.
Charges and then trial. So if the charges are upheld, they'll announce a sentence?
That's right. This is how a trial goes in the Opera House. During the proceedings, the Chief Justice and the Oratrice will hear statements from both sides.
The Oratrice will too?
That's right. This is how indemnitium is produced.
Oh, indemnitium is the energy that is produced by trials in this country. And then that power is given to the people to power their mechanical equipment. Why does it sound like an audition? Yeah, I know. A lot of this is gonna hit home for a lot of us.
The statements from both sides, the defenses from attorneys, witness testimonies, and even the audience's emotions will all be projected on the Oratrice. To put it simply, it's as if the Oratrice has its own will, and is a judge in its own right.
This also precludes any kind of favoritism on the part of the Chief Justice. Not that this has ever happened anyway.
So I think the Oratrice is like a big mechanism that collects all this energy.
Once both sides have finished speaking,
I think.
the Chief Justice will make his final decision. This, too, will be used by the Oratrice as a reference. Then, finally, the Oratrice will be consulted by officials. The result it returns is the will of justice itself.
Huh? So that machine is the one that actually decides? Paimon thought Neverlet called the shots.
In practice, there is very little difference. Both have always come to the same judgment, which is why people have great faith in the Chief Justice. Ah, yes, the guards also asked me to convey that none of us will be allowed to leave this place before the trial.
Oh my.
Huh? Why?
Because we've chosen to act as the twins' proxies. That makes us persons related to the case.
They're concerned that we might be colluding with outside parties, or that we might find outside help to disrupt the case. And even if that were not so, it could prove problematic if we happen to spread key information about the case ahead of time.
I'm ready to break out at any time.
Whoa! There's no need for that! Paimon thinks they have a point. That said, are they providing food?
Of course. I just hope you don't mind the lack of options. I'm afraid that catering to all tastes is not in the cards, nor is any guarantee of balanced nutrition.
Now's not the time to be picky.
In that case, let's just sort out our findings together here. Pity. I was hoping to take you to try some of Fontaine's famous desserts, too. I mean, what better way to properly think through our findings than over some tea and sweets?
Oh.
Huh. breaking out suddenly doesn't seem like such a bad idea after all.
Paimon.
Just kidding, just kidding. Paima will still do her best, even if there are no snacks.
What do you mean, no snacks? Of course we'll have snacks. If we cannot buy some, then we'll simply make some.
I like this, Navia.
Huh? Here? But how?
Understood, Demoiselle. Everyone, please come with me.
Megan, are you talking about Navia's clothes? Yeah, I know. Looks cold.
Wait, you're carrying a portable stove with you?
Yes, I must be prepared to meet the Demoiselle's baking needs whenever the fancy strikes her.
Oh my gosh.
I have eggs, sugar, and almonds at the ready.
Good work, you two. Then I'll get to it. Please sit tight for a moment. You'll get to taste my awesome snacks soon enough.
We're just casually baking in the lobby of an auditorium because we can.
These three are quite the interesting group.
Must be a Spina de Rosula thing. Navia methodically handles the ingredients and pulls fresh macarons out.
And Paimon thought
Just made macarons?
still in the oven. Oh, it's even better now. Paimon can't stop drooling.
She needed to have a whisk. And whisk. And whisk and whisk and whisk. That's true. That's why she needed the almonds.
From the way you had these two guys carrying all that stuff around, Paimon thought you'd have them do more during the baking process.
Look at how enormous these macarons are. They're more like sandwiches. Sandwich. They are sandwich macarons.
But you ended up doing the entire thing by yourself. Beating the egg whites, grinding almonds, everything.
She really did just beat the egg whites like crazy in front of them.
I was applauding.
And I was giving encouraging smiles.
What is going on? That's not quite what Paimon meant, but okay.
Paimon was just thinking. Aren't you worried about getting your fancy dress dirty, beating egg whites and baking like this?
Well, I don't think it's carved in stone anywhere that fancy ladies can only read books, sip tea, ride horses, and play the piano. I just really enjoy making snacks.
Okay, as ridiculous as this person is, I really like this person.
Don't underestimate beating egg whites, by the way. It's a real arm workout.
That's true.
You also need to beat them to just the right consistency, or your macarons will crack.
That's true.
Anyway, give these a try. Fresh out of the
Sandwich.
oven. There's 3 for each of us.
Only 3?
There's little faces on them. What the heck?
Well, eating too many sweet treats might send all that sugar to your head. You wouldn't be able to think clearly about the case on a sugar rush, would you?
Tea is ready to be served as well. This is Demoiselle's favorite, strong black tea with a floral fragrance that clears the mind and lifts the spirit.
You guys think it's an Earl Grey? You guys think this sounds like an Earl Grey to me. Why don't you take a break as well?
No need for concern. I'm merely doing as I should.
I know, I'm very confused too. I'm
All right,
very
then.
confused.
Down to business.
They're making
Mentioned
more
previously,
macarons.
The tunnel seems to be something of a secret chamber. However, we can assume that Linny and Lynette were not alone within it. Some criminal also occupied its sealed confines. The magician twins could have committed the crimes, of course, but they lack any logical motive.
Exactly. Why would they do such a thing right when everyone was watching?
Oh, husband is here. Hi, love. I got halfway through this. Speaking of snacks, Navia just made. Oh, you did? She does look like Taylor Swift. She's Genshin Taylor Swift. It makes macarons in the lobby of auditoriums. I can't. What kind of snack? What do you have in mind? Not really. But I could do with another tea. All right. I'll take a quick tea break then. All right. Macarons? Are you going to make macarons for me right now? Am I going to watch you beat these egg whites? Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to take a quick tea break. And I will be right back. So let me head on over to my break screen. And yeah, I'll see you guys later in a bit. Hello guys, I'm back. Ooh, black sesame dessert sounds delicious. Megan, I hope you've had a good tiny little practice session. How to remove black tarnish from rose gold lip plates. Oh, from the lip plate? Well, if it's black tarnish, it's not gonna really do anything. But I'm guessing you've tried microfiber polishing cloths and stuff like that. There is also tarnish remover, but I'm not the best person to ask. So the best person to ask would be whoever works on your flute. You can send them a quick message and see if they have some recommendations for you to remove that tarnish. There's some solutions and stuff that they can probably recommend to you and also tell you how to use it. Yeah, whoever works on your flute, ask them. Pick player, hello, welcome back. It's so nice to see you again. Okay. Cool. Okay. I'm gonna continue the story. Here we go. So apart from the twins, we're left with two other people, the missing girl and the deceased.
The flower vase and the thud we heard during the performance could indicate some altercation between Halsey and the criminal in the tunnel, resulting in the shattering of the vase, the discarding of her clothes, and her abduction. Perhaps the criminal thought that since she was chosen from the crowd, she would be too easy to identify if she was still wearing the same clothes.
Paimon thinks that makes sense, but the real trouble is...
Oh, by the way, I totally made myself a decaf Earl Grey because I think they're having Earl Grey, but it is too late in the afternoon to have caffeine for me. I've heard of Flying Squirrel. They worked on one of my students' flutes and turned out great. Yeah, great people. Say hi to them for me. I don't know if they know who I am, but you know, one of my students goes to them, so Big Blair? Is it midnight for you where you are? Oh, adding tarnish strips to your case may help loosen up the tarnish. Oh, that's interesting. Alright, let's continue. There's no evidence that this third person even exists.
True. None of the clues we found thus far support the existence of this third person.
Yo, when she blinks, her eyeshadow is like, wow, very smoky.
But the only people left to consider are both technically victims, whether it's the missing girl, Halsey, or poor Cowl.
Huh. Could Halsey have secretly made modifications to the magic props in order to murder Cowl before making her escape?
But she had no way of knowing how the magic trick worked.
That's right. And even if she had tampered with the setup, she would need to understand the entire trick to pull it off. Nor does she have any motive. The guard said that she has never had any dealings with the magic troop's members.
Were we not thorough enough in our search? From the sound of things, this is turning into an impossible case. Your macarons are amazing though, Navia. They smell great! They're nice and crisp and super sweet!
They are my specialty after all.
Specialty.
And I see you've already had 5 of them.
What? 5? Oh, that can't be right. Paimon only counted 3, honest!
Please don't worry about it. At my age, a few less sweets might actually be a good thing.
No. Being greedy is one thing, but Paimon knows how to count. Besides, Paimon knows that if she ate too many, then others wouldn't have enough.
So Paimon put on these mustachioed eyeglasses the moment we started collecting evidence. It's fine. If you ate them, you ate them.
Wait, even you don't believe Paimon? How could you? If Paimon ate those 2 extra macarons, then may they turn into stone in her stomach!
All right, we get it. Well, I suppose one of us might have gotten too engrossed in our chat and eaten them by mistake. No big deal. Malus, set up the stove again if you would.
Huh? What are you doing?
Making more macarons.
Making sure everyone gets 3 macarons, of course.
Oh, there's really no need to do that.
Exactly. We don't want to trouble you.
As you wish, demoiselle.
And I have the egg, sugar, and almonds.
This guy's just the pantry.
Well, this really is your hobby, huh?
Well, that's it for snack time. I'm going to have another look around the area. I don't know what we're looking for yet, but we've still got some time. As attorneys, I suggest the 2 of you think the case over again.
I'm gonna guess the 2 missing macarons are gonna actually come back to bite us in the butt. 100%. Because if you think about how these stories are written, an innocuous thing like that does not need to be written in. Like, literally anything that happens is something that can come back and bite you in the butt.
It would be awkward if you got all tongue-tied on stage during the trial.
Alright, thanks for your help and for the snacks.
It was nothing. A small task for the Spina di Rosula. Silver, Malus, it's time to go. I'll be back if I find anything new.
Probability of third person being involved. Neither Cowell nor Halsey had a motive, but after having talked to Navia, the likelihood of a third person being involved seems very low too. Ah, yes.
Alright, it's time to put our heads together. We've got to get our defense ready for the trial.
Wait.
Oh, it's probably gonna be a long and difficult case. There's no point in worrying about that now. We just need to prepare. Here, take Paimon's notes. They should help you review the situation.
Oh, I was trying to go here yesterday and I couldn't quite make it. I like sitting in these. Oh my god, they have full-on couches here. So this is my second favorite place to sit in an auditorium. It's like one of the side balconies. My favorite place to sit is in the middle towards the back, like here. This is where you get really good sound. Or if you don't want anyone blocking you, then first row on the balcony, also pretty darn good. Favorite macaron flavors. Something with espresso. Arnev, welcome. Arnev, just want to let you know I'm performing live on October 28th. If you look in the pinned comment, there is a link to the event, and which will also has a link in there to grab tickets. So if you would like, love to see you there. And anyone else. All right, we are going to wait until the next day. Let's change the time. But yes, I did get Novelette. Tomorrow, huh? So it has to be this, I think. It is in Kirkland. The performance is in Kirkland. But yeah, all the information is in the pinned comment. That's in the event page. If you go there, you'll see the event. If you open that up, then you'll see links to grab tickets. And invite anyone else who wants to come. Invite your friends, your family. All right. Tickets are not that expensive. We tried to make it reasonable. Oh, viewpoint. Alright, participate in the trial. Okay, we're just gonna be... Oops. Well, a little bit of fall damage.
What do we do? The whole situation is so confusing.
I do have some thoughts, but let's take things step by step.
Good plan. Impossible things don't just happen. We'll get to the truth one way or another.
Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Lynette, at least we will be supporting them from the stands. Besides, I doubt Farina understands any more about what happened than we do.
Farina is the Hydro Archon, or the Hydro God, that is. I would love to come to Toronto to perform sometime. That will take a lot of organization for that type of thing to happen. So I can't promise it, but we do have friends in Toronto that we do like to go and visit every few years. So, you know, yeah. I'm doing a little better now, Arna. As you guys can probably tell from the way that I'm talking, I'm not fully well yet. But I'm well enough to do this type of thing, finally. Normally, like, whenever I get a cough, I'm out for weeks. The last time I got a cough was in 2021, and that cough lasted like 4 weeks. I want to say a little longer than that. It probably around 5 weeks. It was ridiculous.
Thanks, Navia. Well, we'll be going then.
Best of luck to you.
Ah, finally, you're back. Well, how did your investigation go?
To be honest, you might be disappointed.
No. We're already very grateful that you were willing to help.
Well now, don't you all look disappointed. Don't tell me that your investigation came up empty-handed. That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence.
Oh, I just realized that I could click that. Ooh, not yet investigated. Ooh.
But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most anticipated foe, concede so easily.
Just you wait.
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show incident is now in session.
What a dude.
Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Linney explain the trick?
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All the necessary items have been prepared.
5 macarons. Oh, keep the voice down under the chin. I'll be fine. I like that you know this trick. I am finding that that is the case. That I can, as long as I keep my voice really low, then it doesn't irritate my throat. N.A., hello, welcome. Linny clearly reveals the details of the magic trick. Everyone in the audience is stunned.
In that case, I take your statement to be that you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began, and thus could not have committed the crime. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady Farina, do you wish to refute his statement in any way?
Of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying.
It's the point.
There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact, I'd say you were hardly in that tunnel at all.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside your box?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any kind?
Enjoy, pick player. Good night.
No, nothing.
I love the split screen. It's so good. They normally never do this in Genshin, so this clearly is like an allusion to Ace Attorney.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone heard it.
Huh?
Hey, hang on. Something's not right here.
How could Lily not know about that sound?
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box and I definitely heard the thud.
Oh, this is the Oratrice.
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
They probably represent the Oratrice's stance on the trial.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. Indeed, it seems his alibi can also collapse in the blink of an eye. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock solid. Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
The House of the Hearth?
They're Fatui?
No wonder they did something like this.
So the Fatui are essentially, they're kind of like agents sent out by the country of Snezhnaya to do kind of weird undercover work. And most people see them as very evil.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatui's doing. Now it all makes sense.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Oh, I like that his voice got lower.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting and discord, I suppose. This was almost too easy.
She's just doing this for the show.
Good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Linny, why didn't you tell us this before?
Linny and Lynette are Fatui.
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow me to re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the House of the Hearth. Are these claims true?
There's no doubt about a magician's ability to con others. Given how Linny has concealed his identity, this could all have been set up beforehand. Plus, Child is here in Fontaine along with other house operatives. There must be some scheme at work here. Child is another Fatui. I've been a victim of such schemes before, and now...
Please answer my question, Mr. Linney.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
I knew it!
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentencing already.
What should we do now?
Permission to speak, Your Honor.
Granted.
My client has withheld some key information. My defense cannot proceed.
In that case, What is your request?
I request a brief adjournment. There are things that must be discussed.
Is that really necessary? They're already as good as guilty.
The defendant deceived their own attorneys. What is there left to discuss?
Order! Order, I say! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn. This trial will reconvene in 1 hour.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have more professionalism than I thought. In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a little while longer.
While the court is adjourned, you meet with Linny and Lynette backstage in the Opera House.
Well, this is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would dig all that up.
Arnav, you're not the first person to ask to co-op with me. I was thinking in the future I might do that. Right now we're just doing story though, so I could always come and help you. Yeah, we might make that a thing in the future because someone else has also mentioned this before, and there are a few others as well who also play, so it might be fun to join each other's worlds. This feels like totally like an audition. Yeah. I had a feeling that you guys would especially enjoy Fontaine because there were a lot of artistic elements in here. So I had a feeling a lot of this would hit home for a lot of you. Sumeru was also very good. No spoilers here, Arnav, it's totally fine. But Sumeru is the nation of knowledge. And so the whole area is wrapped up around the academia. So for those of you guys who have been in academia for a while, you'll notice a lot of the themes of what people say and do and stuff like that is exactly what you would hear in university all the time. So a lot of that hit home too. Yeah. It's Rex. Hello and welcome.
I'm sorry, Traveler and Paimon.
Yeah, sorry.
Paimon doesn't know where to start. We trusted you two. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't bad guys. Not to set the wrong tone or anything, but Paimon's really mad!
I'm very sorry. I know you're angry, and reasonably so, but please, let me explain. I know you've clashed with the Fatui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just hearing the word is enough to make you upset. But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and goals.
So the Harbingers are like at the top of the Fatui. They're like the top main like head honchos, and I think there's like 12 of them, right? And well, one of them died because we killed them in a fight to the death. But they are all named after give me a sec. It's an opera. All of their names are named after people in an opera. The 11 Harbingers. Let's see. Yeah, so the code names of the Harbingers are taken from the inspiration from the Commedia dell'arte. So the names of the put here opera. What's the opera that they're from? Yeah, the Harbingers. Yeah, so the names of the Harbingers, because I'm sure that some of you guys will be interested to know, are Piero, Colombina, Pulcinella, Pantalone, Arlecchino, Tartaglia, Sandrone, Scaramouche, La Signora, Il Capitano, and Il Dottore. It's a great game, guys. I really like the whatchamacallit, reference to all of these like artistic things, artistic and religious references.
Right now, we want to save people. As many as we can.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that its people might face. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends. That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you, but chose to hide some details instead. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending more effort than we need to.
How can we know this isn't all just another lie?
Right. So, you be the judge. Heck, if I were you, I fear that I'd even struggle to trust me at this point. You met a Flutist who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. All by coincidence, too. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal. At least, not in this case.
No, but in other cases.
Sorry.
Oh,
Please
sorry.
forgive us.
Sorry, guys. I apologize.
Well, you both say that, but...
Explain the other issue first. Where did you actually go while the trick was being performed?
Right. Let's hear your answer first, and no lies now.
Of course. I'll answer any question you ask. We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick, with the objective of getting close to the core.
Oh, interesting.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room in which the core is stored.
Oh, so he went to the
That
vent.
air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
What did you find?
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached that room and was about to investigate, I heard someone's voice. Which should have been impossible, of course. I was quite certain that I was the only one in the room.
Rex, you C6 Nivelet? Oh my goodness. I'm sure you're very much enjoying him. Did you get his weapon too?
That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution and retreated the way I came.
I wonder if the core is talking to him.
On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground, but the countdown was almost finished, so there wasn't time to give it any thought. After that, the homicide occurred just as you saw.
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
But why do you want to understand how the Oratrice operates?
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized crisis.
So the prophesied crisis that he talked about earlier, much earlier, is that eventually Olifontaine will be covered in water with only the Hydro Archon left weeping for her people.
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. I swear, I didn't hide anything from you this time. It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud of mistrust either. But like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the Fatui, there's nothing I can do to stop you.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
I believe in the facts. I will defend you from these charges. I believe that judgment will be dispensed as it should.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly against you two. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna need a seriously watertight defense.
Actually, we already have the key evidence we need.
Huh?
The adjournment's almost over. Let's go back.
Oh, Paimon thinks she gets what you mean.
Linny's statement. Linny claims that he headed to the chamber containing the oratory's core upon entering the tunnel and did not witness the crime taking place and thus did not hear the thud. The voice in the oratory's core chamber. Linny claims to have heard a mysterious voice within the chamber that houses the oratory's core within the opera house's underground structures. Excuse me. Oh no, Rex, it took over 155 wishes for one book. I am so sorry. I think I
see the value in my own work, but I also see the meaning in all.
I understand that I got very lucky, but I ended up getting both the Staff of Homa and Neuvillette book within, I believe it was 70 pulls. I got very lucky. I got extremely lucky. Yeah. I got very, very lucky. Anyway.
The endeavors of the people of Fontaine. I believe I will continue to take pride in fulfilling my duties.
What 5 stars do I have? Are you... Well... Neuvillette, Raiden, Zhongli, Nahida, Kazuha, Xiao, Sino, Klee, and then I have Arataki Ito, Albedo, Scaramouche, Jean, Chi-Chi, of course, Yaimiko. I don't really know why I pulled for Yaimiko because I don't really play her. Kachang, Baiju, Alhaitham. Alhaitham is probably my highest damage, along with Neuvillette. Tainari, Ayato, Mona, Diluc. I think these are all 4 stars, right? Yeah. There you go. Those are my 5 stars. As you can see, mostly men. I have been playing since day 1, so 3 years.
Both parties have returned to their positions.
All the
Let us
husbanders.
continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the events.
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective.
Okay, based on the opposition's account of events, you can identify loopholes in their statement. Use evidence and clues obtained during the investigation to refute any erroneous assertions of fact and replace them with new inferences. Use your refutations to convince the audience and obtain more support from the people. The oratress will display such shifts clearly. When you find and refute all incorrect content, you can complete the cycle of refutation and unveil the truth. All right. Interesting
As the countdown
gameplay.
began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that this sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed earlier that he could not hear the sound.
Oops, sorry guys. I wanted to skip the ads for you guys so you guys wouldn't miss this part.
Finally, he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and caught Linny red-handed. So Linny proceeded to knock him out too before stuffing him into that box. Afterward, Linny passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before operating the devices such that Cowl's death would be ruled an accident. And there you have it. That's the truth behind what happened.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina's description of the event?
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events, what Linny experienced, and what he saw.
That is the main... That's the Traveler's voice. Yes! He got a line to say! Let's identify a loophole.
Seems this won't produce a particularly effective rebuttal.
Oh, I could just click it. Click on all of them, eh? Refute.
According to Linny, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel. He couldn't have had that altercation with Halsey.
Oh, wait. Let's see. So this one is entered the tunnel. Oh, let's do the other ones first.
See.
All Linny saw was...
Linny did not take part in the underground altercation. He only witnessed traces of the aftermath.
Is it time to just pick and choose?
Linny went to the room that contains the Oratrice's core. This is the actual truth.
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon has something to say!
Ace Detective.
When the countdown started, Linny did indeed go into the tunnel. But he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core of the Oratrice is stored. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. Since he felt something was amiss, he returned immediately. The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again, and in order to complete the magic trick, he did not remain there for any length of time. Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the accident happened from his point of view. Therefore, he's innocent!
Okay, successful.
Paimon did it! Paimon actually managed to say all that! Wasn't it awesome?
In other words, you believe that he knew nothing of the incident?
That's right!
Moreover, I believe my opposition's reasoning is flawed.
My reasoning?
The onstage equipment was clearly tampered with in a premeditated fashion. However, you say that Cowell bumped into Linny by chance.
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup meant to kill? Assuming that what you say is true, Linny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case. What would the point of killing someone on stage be?
Oh, they have a point.
That's right, you tell him! And that's why they're partners of mine. They've managed to turn things around.
Oh, well, your denial is very strident, I'll give you that. But what proof do you have to back your claims?
Do you like the sudden, like, cinematic, like the little cinematic bars? Do you happen to remember how you refuted Linny's alibi initially?
Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, how could he have not heard that sound? Why do you ask? You're saying that he wasn't?
Your claim has also become a critical clue. Okay, so there's only these three.
That's right! Linny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel. That's why he didn't hear anything strange during the performance. This means that when the crime happened, Linny had already entered the basement via the vent. The same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof! How do you like that?
Well played.
To think you'd use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Linny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Okay. More gameplay. How did the culprit trigger the onstage accident? Okay, the guard's investigation report. The guard's investigation report indicates that the fireworks released near the end of the show ignited and burned through the rope suspending the water tank above the stage. This caused the water tank to fall and kill Cowell in the box below. If Linny is no longer under suspicion, only the other members of the troupe would have been able to tamper with the props. Linny gave a detailed account of how the trick was supposed to work. By using a box inside of a box, the idea was for the box containing the audience member to be transported across via a tunnel underneath, and Linny himself would also use this tunnel to get to the other side. Having changed her outfit, Lynette and her assistant would take charge of onstage interactions. The clothes belonging to Halsey, the lady who went missing, were found in the tunnel. The reason for this remains unknown.
The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
Okay.
Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience member. Or did she have her own scheme all along? Could there have been a third person involved? Is that really a possibility? Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience member? Or did she have her own scheme all along?
Oh, okay, fine.
The deceased's name is Cowl. Linny's... Could there have been a third person in...
Let's see. Okay, it really was Cowl then. Okay, fine.
The deceased's name is Cowl.
Huh? That can't be right. Are you serious? The killer was, in fact, Cowl, the deceased!
Oh, is that so? How interesting! Let's hear your reasoning then.
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowl did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator to victim.
Oh. How can we envisage Linny as having been unable to interfere with the crime?
No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrances. So where would the criminal have wanted to take Halsey? The deceased's name is Cowl. Linny's Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel, so there must have been some fear that she would attract attention. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as well. Linny was not in the tunnel at... It would have been tough for both people to... Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel, so there must... The deceased's name is Cowl. No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrances, so where would the criminal have wanted to take Halsey? The deceased's name is Cowl. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel.
No? Oh, the last one is incorrect. Okay.
No one entered. It would have been tough for both people to fit into...
I'm thinking this one. No? Oh, it is. Yeah. Oh my gosh, guys. I'm so bad at this. Ace Attorney Joanna is garbage at this.
No one entered or...
Uh-oh. Oh, sorry, I should read this out loud. Leaving aside how he died, Kyle had all the means to commit the crime at his disposal. The strange noise could likely have been the sound of Kyle and Halsey struggling. Linny was not in the tunnel for 1 minute. This would have given time for Kyle to bring Halsey out of the magic box in the audience stands. But according to the guard's testimony, no one entered or left the opera house, so even if he had taken her, there would be no means of exiting. Exiting from the box would have been in full view of the audience, pretty much guaranteeing that they would be discovered.
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring things out?
Where in the world did Halsey go?
I see how it is. So this was all just a bluff.
Oh, is that part of the...
Here I thought you had something to show for it. But it seems you're still far from the truth.
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not consider a different track? Just like the trick as it transpired, the end result must have been utterly different from the magician's initial design.
If only we knew how Halsey disappeared.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits, and none of them seem very likely. And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear. You know, like you did from that water tank, Lynette.
Magic. Escaping from the water tank. Wait, could it have been the water?
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents, but do you not see that the crowd is growing impatient? There is no greater sin in this opera house than an awkward delay in the performance.
So you can name your character, Majin Monkichi, and my game handle is always some form of cadenza. So that's my game name, cadenza or cadenza rose. Yeah. It's kind of fun because sometimes when we're playing with our friends, they'll just straight up call me Cadenza. Well, that's my in-game name.
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Hold on a second. Is it...
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. The vase was not broken by chance. It was used to cover important evidence. The water.
Paimon gets it! It all comes together if Halsey disappeared instead of being kidnapped. Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind. If there's a similar method where a person could be transformed into water...
Oh, just a moment, please. I do hope you know how preposterous you sound at the moment. How could a person ever be transformed into water? This is reality we're talking about here, not some magic trick.
Arnav, your in-game name is Crescendo. That's so great. A request that we examine Cowell's personal effects. We might find something there.
Must we really? I should think that of anyone. Your friend Linny already knows this truth very well. Magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection. But Halsey's disappearance is very real. We're talking about two completely different things.
Even so, I trust the Traveler's judgment. The truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning may open if we try to gather all the focal points that don't make sense. Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings, would it?
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope. The way I see it, your suggestion that we broaden the scope of our investigation is nothing but a tactic for stalling the trial.
Music, man.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, I believe that additional evidence may help us make more progress.
Look at this beautiful man.
Guards, please step into the lounge and examine the personal effects of the deceased, Cowell.
After some time, a guard returns with news.
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical progress that we feel must be shared with everyone post-haste. We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage, each labeled separately. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are... water from the Primordial Sea.
The Primordial Sea?
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs and that he had an accomplice.
Cowell's a druggie!
The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which the keyword dissolve appears many times. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. It is empty. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort of test subject.
Did they dissolve her?
As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact, supported by sufficient evidence.
Is the water Halsey?
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving into water?
Could something so ridiculous actually be true?
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy, but it's just a coincidence, isn't it?
Oh, it's not that the waters of Fontaine will rise up to cover the people. Is that the people become water? Is that actually the prophecy?
Huh. If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? And if Cowell was targeting that girl... Wait just a minute. Could that mean... You two, with me, quick!
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has yielded some surprising results. But we cannot yet verify the veracity of these clues. Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding that Ms. Halsey has yet to be found. Guards, please continue examining the items along these lines. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence, so please continue speaking.
Of course. Thank you, Your Honor. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case's seemingly unrelated clues can be connected together.
Right! Like the metal hook! That one didn't make sense at all. Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the primordial sea.
Water from the primordial sea. The liquid the guards found in Cowell's luggage seems to have the ability to dissolve Fontanians into water.
The deceased's name is Cowell. Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. Did she have something to do with this?
Oh, no. No.
Lynette was in the magic box.
Can I? Okay. I did not mean for that.
There was something else within the inner layer of that box. Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick, but was instead some form of triggering The rope that held the water tank.
Okay, I don't think that's correct. Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, oh my gosh.
Now it seems like the hook rope. The rope that held the water. The water from the primordial sea should already have been prepped before Halsey entered the magic box. Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick, but was instead some form of triggering mechanism. Lynette was in the magic box on stage I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that box.
Oh, not that? What was this?
Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic. Lynette was in the magic box on
No, it is the hook, isn't it? Oh my gosh.
Like
Ace Attorney Joanna is garbage at this, man. I got super confused. Good job, me.
It's Ace Detective Paimon's time to shine again! In the original plan, Cowell would tamper with the water tank rope and the number selector securing his target. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it would pour down and dissolve Halsey.
Oh my god.
Afterward, Cowell would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being covered up by the water tank on stage. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel, and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use to cover his tracks.
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the more confusing pieces of evidence.
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now. Have I falsely accused an innocent person? What a humiliation.
Now, it seems like the only point of contention remaining is the exact circumstances that led to Cal's death. His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to the situation.
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating that they uncovered new evidence. I shall now invite him on stage to share it with us.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage of the other people involved in this case. And we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea among Linny's personal effects.
What?
What?
That can't be.
How wonderfully comedic to have your own counterattack only to come back and wound you. Does this not clear all doubt? My dear citizens, my loyal audience, allow me to present my reasoning and bring this performance to a swift close.
All right.
Linny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via the vent. Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Cowl then caused Halsey to vanish using the water from the primordial sea. But upon his return, in cruel avarice, Linny desired sole credit and prepared to do away with his partner in crime. Ultimately, he knocked Cowl out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also became a murder weapon. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straightforward conclusion, it does seem that the famed Fatui is quite the cold-blooded and ruthless organization. Am I right, Mr. Linny?
On that note, I need to go to the bathroom. So I'll be right back. All right, guys? Give me a sec here. All right, I'm back. Let's keep going.
We've used up all the evidence we collected. There's no way for us to make a rebuttal here. Is this the end of the road?
Oh no! Paimon can't think of anything either. It doesn't look like there's any way around this. Seems using the water as new evidence was too good a move. Why did this have to happen now?
I think we've all seen enough now, and we have ample witnesses to my flawless reasoning. I believe this is indeed the finale. Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice, should we not, in your view, move...
Excuse me, everyone, but I must interject.
Miss, I must ask you not to shout, and to respect the ongoing legal proceedings.
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to take a little break from all this debate and see a little magic? I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the flesh, right before your very eyes. Please, do the honors, Mr. Linny, if you would be so kind.
What in the world is she saying?
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my scope as a magician.
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It It often conceals the truth while presenting a fascinating illusion. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again? And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to today's performance? Come on, Lenny and Lynette, give it another go. Don't worry. Spina di Rasula has made the necessary arrangements on your behalf. But as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think I should leave the final performance to you.
Holy crap, what the heck is going on?
I understand.
And voila.
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So the whole thing about people dissolving wasn't true after all?
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence. I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me, and then before I knew it, she caught me.
That'll teach you to underestimate us three.
Where should I begin? I'm sorry. I'm the one who killed Cowl. I admit it.
I did not see that coming. Amir! How are you? Oh no! Right. Stay safe, okay? We love you. I'm sorry. If we can provide some escape, hang out with us.
What? Why?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt. I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket, so I stole one. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there, and I'd never been caught before.
She's not Fontanian, so she can't be dissolved. Is that why?
But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away. Lenny was the one who caught me in the act.
Hey, no wonder you look familiar. So you were the thief. Liddy even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector chose me. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was on to me for sure. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee. But then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance costumes.
Oh, that's why they were haphazardly stuffed in
I
there.
slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
If they're a practiced hand at concealment, probably. Professional thief could make it work.
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Really, I swear it. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no killer.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
Yeah. Now it's time to refute the Hydro Archon's previous reasoning.
This time, we need to tell the entire story from Lily-Ann's perspective.
Yeah, so she could not be dissolved because she is not Fontanian. She's from Mondstadt. Oh.
Lillian was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed clothes and hid, biding her time. Just what one might expect of an experienced thief. The flower vase was not broken to cover anything up, but was smashed during the struggle between Lillian and Cowell.
No, okay. I'm just trying everything now.
The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was Lillian's attempt to break out when she was frightened.
And it's Ace Detective Paimon time! Having been selected out of the blue, Lillian panicked.
So there's a really great picture of the voice actor for Paimon during during their recording a session for this, and they're literally going like that while they're recording. It's so great. It's on Twitter somewhere. Corinna Bedgar is the name of the actor for Paimon.
Her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. So she kicked the door open, producing the thud we all heard. Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt into the tunnel, only to discover that Lillian had not dissolved. He did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was a thief who made her way in by stealing a ticket. Mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time to take effect, he tried to force Lillian back into the box. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lillian came out on top, knocking Cowell out and putting him in the box. With no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in the costume trunk until the performance ended.
Wow. What a twist.
She knew that she would have to
You're
go
doing
through
your
guard
dailies.
inspection if she tried to leave afterward. So, she has been trapped in the opera house these last 2 days.
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons.
Oh,
So,
see?
she swiped 2 of them right under our noses. Talk about a sneaky thief.
I knew it. I knew that the missing 2 macarons would come into play.
At this point, all the events that happened in the tunnel have now come to light.
Ah, so that's the whole story.
Bravo! Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak against the defense's statements? Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution not leave the room before the proceedings have concluded.
He sounds like a dad trying to, like, hint, daughter, stay here. We're not done yet.
What? Are you reading my mind now? No, I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
Wow. Look at that. She's like a deflated balloon now.
Buy more, please.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events. The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop and hide the watermarks. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box, and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud noise. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided to proceed. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box, and thus became his own final victim. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts of the opera house. As for Lenny, he was in the underground structures within the opera house, and was thus ignorant of these happenings. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Lenny, the accused, is in fact innocent. While there is much in Lenny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated separately, this case at least can be handed over to the Oratrice to make the final decision.
Whoa.
As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
No, apparently she did not eat 5 macarons.
Great work, partners.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Let's not celebrate just yet.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Guard Vaughn. How did you find the water from the primordial sea in Linny's baggage?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that not a discovery, but false evidence that you dared to bring before this court?
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but you, yes?
Whoa, whoa.
I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Oh my god, Newfoundland. What a guy.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon Town.
I was just following orders. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best opportunity to do so.
Wow.
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-ups, yes?
Wow.
Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek the protection of the guards.
Yes, I'll tell you everything I know. Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration.
So acid?
We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent more off it. The disappearances were also the boss's idea. I mean, this is the boss we're talking about. The...
He turned into water.
And now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
However, nothing is found on the scene apart from the liquid left behind after Vaughn dissolved. Oh.
So, we're just going back now?
Problem seems to have been solved for now. We're not needed here anymore.
That's true, but...
Traveler, Paimon! Please wait.
Lenny...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at me. But still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end. Even after you learned that I'm a member of the Fatui.
Just wanted to be sure that we're square.
I guess. But regardless, I'd like the opportunity to set things straight. I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, just plain Linny this entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That's all. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
Oh.
The Knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
I believe it's Arlecchino, right?
That's right. And since we're here, I was wondering, would you mind hearing a story? It's about my past. Back when our parents first died, Lynette and I were left wandering the streets. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. It took me several days to figure out how he pulled off his amazing tricks. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner, and we began to perform magic tricks there. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. But I didn't want my sister to remain a street rat together with me forever. Before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take us in after watching my performances.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like that?
That was how we felt at first too. As if fate was on our side and we could say goodbye to those painful days. But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic tricks. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than roaming the streets at any rate.
It took a while for me to realize just how dark his heart really was. After one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return vehicle as me. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. I went to that noble's bedroom and asked him about her whereabouts. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift. I mean, you'll be able to perform your magic regardless of who your assistant is, yes?
Oh my god. Oh, that's horrible.
Oh no. So he was gonna... But wouldn't Fontaine's laws deal with such people?
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care, and they have their ways of escaping the eye of the law.
Villains.
I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person, and hurried through the night. But by the time I leaped over the walls, avoided the guards, and made my way in, all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood, and the knave standing there in the darkness.
So, she'd already taken care of that guy.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement, all of them orphans.
That's horrible.
Father, I mean, the knave, might have seen something in me, and so she made me an offer. The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, none will ever betray you. Indeed, betrayal shall never be permitted here.
So if you betray, If you are a Fatui and you betray your fellow Fatui, it's actually part of their code that you have to die. This is something that you learn earlier in the story.
I was hesitant to trust her. I mean, I had just been betrayed by nobles. But she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first, giving us back our freedom.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
The knave is after the gnosis, isn't she? The gnosis is the, it looks like a chess piece, and it is sort of the, I think it's like the embodiment of power given to the gods, the archons. So the Archon, the god of Snezhnaya, which is where the Fatui are from, is trying to go around collecting these gnosis. It's hinted that they're trying to launch an attack against the celestial, I forget what it's called, but against the heavens, basically. So there's many layers of conflict in this game. So there's conflict amongst sort of like the top, like there's like many layers of gods too, basically. And I believe essentially they're trying to launch an attack against the celestial beings that kind of like rule over. It's all very complicated.
She has her own plans. She has gained permission from the Tsaritsa to first use the Gnosis' power when she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
Yeah, so the Tsaritsa is the god, the Archon of Snezhnaya, which is where the Fatui are from. So apparently, they want to break the prophecy. I guess the prophecy is that it has something to do with this primordial water turning the people of Fontaine into water.
So, she believes in that prophecy too?
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working to combat that crisis. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of water, thus further supporting the prophecy.
Hi Victor, good evening. How are you doing?
All of us house members here, Lady Arlecchino herself included, are from Fontaine. We won't give up on defending our homeland.
Yeah, so this is how you know, like, stuff is getting real very quickly. Most of the Archon quests kind of start like this. They start very innocuously, and then it, like, you know, things go 0 to 100, 100 to 1,000 very quickly.
To us orphans, the only connection we have left to this world, apart from our family, is our homeland.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to huge schemes like stealing a Gnosis, everything is aimed at dealing with that prophecy.
I'm sorry, but I still can't completely trust you.
It's all right. I understand. The only thing I can do is relate all this to you.
Halloween is indeed coming.
I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the house, I have never stopped making my own decisions, and that I believe what I'm doing is right. If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me. I will do my best to help you, as plain Linny.
I understand.
Bye, Linny!
Traveler is so, like... Traveler feels so betrayed. So sad.
Water comes in
Yes, my dear. I do know that water comes from, you know,
flavors to the discerning palate.
many flavors.
Mondstadt's water is crisp and pure.
Yes,
Well,
Nervalet, yes, Nervalet.
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Is Paimon always floating to the beat of the music? That's hilarious.
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to solving the serial disappearances case, though. Don't you think so, too?
I'm sorry, Navia.
Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
I was really only trying to defend Linny.
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who can crack a case that's been cold for decades now? And given that there's new evidence from the trial, there should be a trail of breadcrumbs for the Hydro Archon's people to follow now, right?
Huh.
I do enjoy that in this particular Archon quest, there's only, you only get involved for a really good reason to get involved. Because I did feel that in some of the other Archon quests, we were just kind of playing the role of like the hero that comes in to save the day. But I like how they make it so that in this one, you don't help out unless you have a really good personal reason.
I see. Well, I won't lie. I'm a little shocked to hear that from you. But I suppose you are just travelers who have only arrived in Fontaine after all. Sorry. I might have been too presumptuous.
Don't say that, Navia.
Aw, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing new hope to spring forth, and the reflection in the murk to become clearer. Sorry about that. I'm a bit prone to nostalgia. Don't mind me.
Welcome back, Michael.
Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know, to commemorate our time as partners?
Huh? Do we really need to get that formal? Well, guess you really did treat us as partners, huh?
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. That way there are no regrets later. Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time.
Well, if you say so.
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm. If Boss Navia's treating, count Paimon in!
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we return to the court of Fontaine and head to the Hotel de Boer? I believe we'll make it just in time for dinner.
All right then, let's have our farewell meal.
Something's totally gonna happen. Oh, complete. All right. I have finally finished Act 1. There is Act 2, 3, and 4. You guys realize how long that was? Well, I think I will end it here. It is almost 6 p.m. That was long. So I will continue with the story. I'm not sure if I'll be back tomorrow to do it, but I am a little bit behind on the story. So yeah, so there are currently 4 acts, and I am at the end. I just finished 1. So I will be back sometime. I don't know how many flute practice streams there will be. I don't think that I'm in a good place to practice today, but I might practice tomorrow. There we go. So I think that's it for me today. Thank you so much for joining. My heart goes out to just everything that's going on with Israel. I'm so sorry. We've been keeping up with the news, and just know that we love you, and we are well, we're Christian, so we are praying, and we hope you don't mind. So hi Nicholas, you caught me at the end again. What is with this? But yeah, that I did not expect the story to go where it went. My husband was actually absolutely correct. He was telling me that the way that they tell the story here in Fontaine is top notch. I already was blown away with how they told the story in Sumeru, but Fontaine is just so good. wow, I'm very much looking forward to the next bit. So who knows, I might see you guys tomorrow or later. Don't know when I'm gonna do more of this. Yeah, so we're just waiting for my throat to heal a little bit more. Arnev, I did try, specifically I was stalling the start of this stream so that I could catch a few more of you. I originally was going to start streaming at 1 p.m. but I was like, you know what, I'm just going to potato a little bit on the couch before I do this. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will come back for Act 2 with you guys. Here's hoping that I can complete Act 2 in one go, but that might take several hours, so it might be another several hour stream. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. You guys are awesome. I've missed you guys, and thank you for making this a space on the internet where I don't feel pressured. Yeah, I really want to thank you guys for that. So anyway, we'll see when we can do some co-op with you guys, because turns out quite a few of you guys play Genshin. So we will see if we can do something co-op. I know that there are some events coming up that might be really fun to do co-op. Some more of those fighting events. We can see if we can figure out how to do some co-op together. That'd be really fun. Paper Maid. Thank you. Yeah, so off I go. Oh yeah, there is the poetry event. You're right. Yeah, well, that's it. I love you all so very much. And I will see you guys in the next stream, whether it be a flute practice stream or another Genshin stream. Yeah. I will see you guys next time. Love you all. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. Laters.